Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip, and you are not. You guys are the Skipsters. I am the Toddster. I don't know what the hell I am, guys, but welcome to our channel. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. If you're on the fence, that fence is weighing down and it's uncomfortable. Come on over to our side. If you don't like it, we'll let you go. We do not serve Kool-Aid. We don't make you stay. Guys, Sarah Boone. For those of you that don't know, I used to work in a jail. I worked in a jail for several years in a few different capacities. I was a manager of the kitchen. I was a manager of the commissary. I'm sorry, I was supervisor in the kitchen, and assistant manager is what I went up to in the kitchen, and then I went to manager of the commissary. So the inmates were my employees, lo and behold, and I did a lot of teaching them what it's like to push a broom, what it's like to cook a meal, what it's like to have some responsibilities. So I'd like to think that I knew the inmates a little bit more than the correctional officers, but I could hold the fort down when needed to as well. So, guys, Sarah Boone ain't going to make it in prison. Let me just tell you that. And let me tell you that she said something. She said, everyone supposed that this is one of the worst experiences of my life, and it's actually one of the best, one of the greatest, she said in her final remarks to the court. Because she's saying that in prison, which she hadn't even been there yet. She'd only been in jail. She hadn't been to prison yet. So she said, if I were not beaten to death by George, which we see that George was not the aggressor. It was Sarah who was the aggressor. Silly Sarah never got rid of any of the proof that proved that she was the bully. She used to beg George to come over and play this like weird game with him. And I don't mean hide and seek. Like, she used to call him up. They used to get drunk, and then she played this game of, I guess, show me how much you love me by letting me fuck with your mind, George. And let me see how far I could push you, George, until you leave, because I know you're going to leave, George. I know you, because she has abandonment issues. Alleged, Toddy. Well, she does. She's the type of person that pushes people because she doesn't believe they're going to stay. I'm telling you, that's who Sarah Boone is. I detect that. So I'm not a counselor. I have been in counselor positions. I have been a drugs counselor. But Sarah Boone, listen, her family has passed on. She has one brother, I believe. But her family has passed on. And I want to say that was abruptly, from my understanding. I think she certainly has abandonment issues. And she plays these mind games. And seriously, they are because she is insecure. Every video we saw of George, he was cowering. He was cowering down. Sarah was the instigator. Sarah, was the boss. Sarah had to be so important. She has to be so important here too, because she says, if I were not beaten to death, I was going to work myself to death on the outside. Now she doesn't have to do shit. 3 meals and a place to lay her head. Guess what, Sarah Boone? The prison you're going into, I think it's Lowell Correctional, right? That one in Florida, there's no AC. How are you going to be comfortable there? Sarah said, I never had time to get back into my Bible and to pray and be with the Lord. Well, you would have if you weren't drinking so much. And being here incarcerated, I have had the time to get myself reacquainted with the Lord. The Lord's been with you the whole time, Sarah. You haven't made time for the Lord. Now I suppose you should make time for the Lord, because he's probably the only one on your side. Sarah's not going to do well in prison. We're going to hear things about Sarah because Sarah still thinks she's special. Sarah, you are not special. You are not any more special than any other woman that's going to be incarcerated next to you or in you. And they will let you know that, Sarah. They will make sure that when you get there, you will be put in your place so that you know where your place is. Because people with attitudes ain't going to make it there. You are not going to be a top dog there, Sarah. You're not built to be a top dog. You're not built like that. Those women in there will see right through you because they've been there, played that, done that. They're going to teach you a thing or two. And if you think that you were BEATEN on the outside, yeah, they turn their back in that prison. Make sure that the inmates get you in shape for the deputies. That's what I heard. Because they don't play games there. See, the problem with somebody doing life or somebody on death row is that they feel like they can't have any consequences. Things cannot get possibly any worse for them because what could they do? They can't add more time on. So they put them in the SHU, special housing unit, the hole, isolation. That'll drive you crazy unless you like being in the hole. So people like Sarah Boone, she absolutely is going to make life hell and make as much noise as possible. And trust me when I tell you, the deputies are going to get so sick of her that they're going to leave doors open so that inmates will put her in her place so that the deputies don't have to. Because I've seen that. I've seen that in jail where the deputies don't get their hands dirty. They kind of do favors for inmates and the inmates kind of do favors for the deputies. That's what's going to happen with Sarah Boone because she don't know how to keep stump. And she has nothing to offer these people. She has nothing to offer these women when they say, well, we could go to Sarah for legal advice. No, we can't. Sarah got life. Sarah had 15 years, and they're going to know it, and she gave that shit up and got life. You think they're going to go to Sarah for any kind of advice? They're going to laugh at Sarah. And her days in the prison are going to be hell for her. She's not going to get any respect. There's going to be people in the Spanish community that aren't going to like her because of who she is. If there isn't people that the Torres family might know in there. Because isn't a brother, one of his brothers is in one of the big houses right now for something that George's brother did to George's brother's girlfriend, right? So where do you think Sarah Boone's going to go from here? I think we're going to hear some horrible stories about Sarah Boone because Sarah Boone doesn't realize that she is not any more special than any other person that's in that prison, and none of them are special. They're just put away and kept away from society because they're dangerous. So Sarah Boone, you're going to be yelling and screaming in that prison and nobody's going to hear a damn thing from you. They don't even really send letters out from that prison. That prison has got so much bad shit going on that you are going to be lost in the cracks of that system. So you thought you knew it all, Sarah Boone? You might learn something new from inside of a Samsonite. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. What do you think of Out on the Boondocks? Samsonite Sarah! Samsonite Sarah! Samsonite Sarah! Guys, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. And always, always be kind. Don't put anybody in anything that they can't breathe in. Guys, please. Thanks, guys. Be well.